One of them has said, the lion and the lamb. Now open that verse and read it. And they'll open their Bible in front of him, and they will read it. And it now says, wolf and the lamb. Monopoly Man had a monocle. He had a monocle. Okay. I'm sorry. He did. I played that game so much as a kid. He always had the monocle.
Always had the monocle.
Now he doesn't, and he never did, apparently.
Okay.
C-3PO.
I
gold robot.
It. Okay, I know who that is, though, but yeah.
Okay. What color is he? C-3PO.
Yeah, he's gold.
Okay, yes. Well, apparently, he always had a silver leg.
A silver leg?
One of them was silver. Everyone remembers him with a tail.
He has a tail with the man in the yellow hat.
Okay, well, apparently, he never had a tail.
Yes,
which is really bizarre, because he's a monkey.
Okay, yeah.
His tail's gone completely.
Welcome back.
Happy to be here.
Got a question.
Yeah?
Are we buying that the human memory is unreliable, or that our timelines are being shifted, or time traveling is happening concerning things that we thought were and are no longer?
AKA the Mandela Effect?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm of the belief that they are somehow changing things, because I think it'd be one thing if a handful of people had the same false memory, but when it's millions of people having the exact same false memory, that tells me, no, we're all remembering correctly, but things are somehow, don't know how, are being changed.
Yeah.
And like, it's weird random things too. So like movie titles or quotes, titles of books, logos, brand names, stuff like that. But there's just so many people that all have the exact same memory of it being a certain way.
Yeah.
So
I don't like this one because it makes you question yourself when you're like, I know I'm not crazy. I know I'm not remembering this wrong. But a lot of the Mandela Effect stuff is kind of almost before my time. Like, I was too young to really remember some of it. Some of it's more recent, I feel like, but some of the more popular ones, I'm like, I don't remember because I was just too young for that.
Right.
But I think it's a trippy topic.
It is really trippy. And I mean, I've been excited to talk about this one ever since we started the podcast. I'm actually surprised we went this long without bringing it up. And if people don't know, it got the term Mandela Effect because it came from when a bunch of people remember seeing Nelson Mandela dying and like watching his funeral on the news, all these things. Mourning his death. And then apparently he hadn't died yet. So everyone, a bunch of people were like confused as to how they all thought this. And people were describing the same funeral, all these things. So that's where we get the term Mandela Effect.
Which is so weird because it's like, I'm not just going to pretend to like deeply feel sadness and mourn for something that never happened.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
You can't explain that. So yeah, we can get into, obviously, like, there's so many examples of them. We're not going to be able to touch on all of them because it's just, the list keeps growing.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest ones, and I will tell you, the Fruit of the Loom logo had a cornucopia.
It did.
You cannot convince me otherwise. I grew up, we had Fruit of the Loom, stuff in the house, t-shirts, underwear, whatever, and it always had a cornucopia.
Yep.
I remember even sketching it out as a kid off of the logo.
Yeah.
I drew it. Yes.
Okay. So I remember doing that too. For Thanksgiving, I remember like somebody was like, I'll pay you to paint with just like acrylics on the window, like a Thanksgiving scene. And I remember looking at that and drawing it out.
Off of the Fruit of the Loom?
Yes.
See? And then now it's gone.
Well, I don't know if it was like exactly the Fruit of the Loom, but it had a cornucopia. Like,
cornucopia.
Cornucopia.
Yeah.
But I was like similar to the Fruit of the Loom one because I don't know. Like, I just remember, it had one.
Everyone remembers it.
Everyone
remembers it. It used to have
Give me one person. Have you met anyone that doesn't remember it?
Not that I've asked.
Okay.
Everyone remembers the cornucopia.
Okay, same.
Yep. And somebody actually found an old article, and it was about Fruit of the Loom.
Okay.
And at the very top of this newspaper article, it shows like a bundle of fruit. There's no cornucopia. But within the article, it says Fruit of the Loom, known for its famous fruit-filled cornucopia, something like that. So it's in that article. So that to me is like proof. Like, yeah, we are right. They somehow have, I don't know how, we're going to theorize about that in a bit, but have taken it off. All the logos, all the labels, everything.
Okay.
So that's one huge example. For me, that's like one of the ones that blows my mind.
Yeah, I don't like that one either because it's like, how do you, well, okay, so it's one thing for logos to like change how they look over time, but it's like, admit it. They will not admit it.
No, but what's weird is like things go, you can go back like 20 years and pull out a Fruit of the Loom and there's no longer a cornucopia. But we know for a fact it used to have it. That's what's strange.
Yeah.
It's one thing if like, obviously they change a logo or a title or coloring of a brand.
Right. But they
like, and then
you
can go back and look at, oh yeah, this is where they changed it. But with the Mandela Effect, it's like they don't admit to changing it. You look it up. It says, no, it's always been this way. And you know in our memory bank that it wasn't.
Well, and that's the thing, too, with the internet, right? Like, you can look things up, but they can change what they...
Well, now, big time.
That's the problem with the information that's released. It can change, like, at a drop of a, like, dime, you know? So that's the other thing, because I was watching this thing, like, Pretty Little Liars, how the book, it said, like, remember the movie, not the movie, the show Fear Factor with Joe Rogan?
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, do you want to see him eat a bug or whatever? Like, in the book, they changed it to, do you want to come over instead of watching Fear Factor? It now says, do you want to come over and watch a TikTok where this guy eats a bug? And they admit to changing it because they want to appeal to, like, the current mass, like, readers, the young readers now. But TikTok was not around back then.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense to change that. Right. But they want to appeal and they want it to make sense to, like, young readers that are reading it today.
Right.
I'm like, people are smart enough, like, children are smart enough, teens are smart enough, young adults are smart enough to figure out, like, oh, that was probably a show back then. You don't need to change it to say something completely that's out of, but I feel like that's similar to kind of what they're doing to us. They're completely just changing it, but then pretending like, it was never that way.
Never that way.
It never happened.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then let's talk about the Monopoly man. Had a monocle. He had a monocle. Okay. I'm sorry. He did. I played that game so much as a kid. He always had the monocle on.
Always had the monocle.
Now he doesn't, and he never did, apparently.
Okay, so before I knew about McDonald's, like when we were younger, do you remember the Monopoly McDonald's where you would peel it and try to get...
Oh, yeah, we played the game.
Yes. He always had a monocle.
He had the monocle.
Yes.
I know.
It's like hindsight, you're like, I wish I would have saved that piece of trash.
But it wouldn't have mattered. It would have been changed.
Would it have?
Yes, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. There is no... It's changed from... For forever.
The original was changed.
For forever.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's just clarify. So for people that don't know what the Mandela Effect is, it's basically you take an object or a logo and it somehow gets changed completely different from what it was originally.
Correct.
Okay.
You were saying, they're not saying, oh, we changed our logo. They will say it was never that way because people are seeing these things now and like their brains are going, you know, record stop. This isn't right.
Exactly.
Okay, so this happened to me actually very recently. So I was on the treadmill in our garage working out, and I was watching Anchorman, which I've seen so many times. Like I quote that movie, I mean, pretty dang well, to admit. And there's a specific quote that I have used over the years. And it's, I'm going to just kind of paint the picture of the scene, and maybe the listeners can like fill in the blank. So when Ron Burgundy comes home from a party, he's got his little dog Baxter there, and his dog's barking at him, and they're talking. And Ron goes, oh, and you ate a whole wheel of cheese? I'm not even mad. Fill in the blank. Where does your mind take you? Okay. Everyone I've talked to, including myself. So when I saw this live, like watching TV, like it was on Netflix, I think, streaming through Netflix, he's always said, I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. Well, no, I was watching it. This is like a year ago. And he says, I'm not even mad. That's amazing, which is incorrect. And it was one of those things where I was like, in my mind, I was already saying the words before he was saying it because I knew what he was going to say. And then when he didn't say the right words, it was like, it was that feeling in my brain. I was like, what just happened? I was like, I had to rewind it and I watched it again. I'm like, I said, babe, I called my husband in there. I was like, what does Ron Burgundy say when he says this? My husband goes, I'm not even mad. I'm impressed.
And you guys use that phrase.
And I said, call your brother. My brother-in-law is like a movie buff, like quote, like he will correct you. We called him up. hey, what does Ron Burgundy say when he, talks to his dog and he goes, I'm not even mad, I'm impressed. We're like, okay, exactly.
That's
Like,
three
it's
people.
gone. It's gone. He's like, no way. And he watched it. I end up looking it up too, of course, on Google.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, no, it never said that. And I'm like, bull crap. It never said that.
So
yes, it
all
did.
three of you are wrong.
Oh, and we have other people we've talked to. I asked multiple people. And then I found Reddit forums on this of people talking about it. Like, no, it's always been, I'm not even mad, I'm impressed.
Whoa, that's
so like, how are they doing this?
I don't know. I mean,
if they're streaming it, they could change it.
Yeah.
But apparently, it's never been that. And even on DVDs, like whatever, even I don't even know if that movie's on VHS, but it's all now.
So what is this?
Amazing.
Like a converging of timelines, or what is this? Then?
So, I kind of think, honestly, I feel like something to do with CERN. So the Large Hadron Collider in the Swiss Alps at CERN, they talk about they're opening portals and things.
Yeah.
And the year that people started noticing all these little changes was the same month and year that they turned up CERN to its full capacity.
Of course it is.
So, coincidence?
No.
I don't know. I don't think so. So, I think somehow they're manipulating timelines. I've heard this theory is that they're using technology and witchcraft, and they're taking the original song that was recorded, the original disc that the movie was filmed on, and they're doing black magic into it. And then therefore that is now changing all the copies.
Oh.
And then when like human consciousness comes in contact with that movie again, it's changed now because they're able to manipulate that.
I wonder.
It's a very unexplainable phenomenon.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Let's just roll with that for a second, because it's like, what if they're doing that? But because it is with witchcraft, what if it's just like a veil over what we're seeing? What if there's a way to somehow see
through
the original through that manipulation?
That'd be amazing.
I don't know. Jesus is he's truth, right? So it's like, I wonder if there's a way to like pray over it before you watch it and like see the true original. I don't know. But it feels like almost like a sleight of the hand. Like it's still, the original has to be there somewhere maybe. Which I don't know. That's just kind of where my thoughts are going right now with that.
It's just weird because like I know like digitally you could change things, but like how do you change physical things?
Ladies, if your man is still putting aluminum in his armpits,
he's wearing the wrong kind of foil.
The only type of aluminum that belongs on your body
is in your tinfoil hats. That's why we switched our guys to Masculine Man.
It's aluminum free, made with clean ingredients, doesn't disrupt your hormones.
And it actually works.
Keep the conspiracies on your head
and not in your deodorant.
So another one, books. Okay, so another one for me that's like really hits hard. The Bernstein Bears.
Yes, Bernstein.
I owned like every one of those books. I memorized them. I would be able to like tell you, recite the whole book. It was Bernstein, Stin. Forever.
Yes, and even like in school, the teachers never said the Bernstein.
It's Bernstein.
I got this Bernstein like.
Exactly.
It's Bernstein. Sorry.
And now it's an A. And now all of them say A. You can go back and pull up your childhood book and it's now changed to an A.
Yeah.
And it freaks me out. That one freaks me out because I know for a fact it was an E. I can see it in my head. I can see it in my mind. Like it's there.
Yes. Same. Well, I mean, there's other theories too that like time travel's involved. There's like that weird book, Baron Trump's. Remember? Time travel. I don't remember what the title was.
Wasn't it written in like the 1800s or something like that?
But when Tesla was like, his apartment was raided, it was Trump's uncle that was the first one, right? That was on the scene. And I don't know. Did he compensate?
Well, they say maybe he got a hold of a time travel machine.
Or like just knowledge or information. But it's like weird that it was like his uncle, but then it's like literally his son that the book was written about. Well, not about, but like.
Well, his name is Baron.
I know.
Isn't it Baron Trump in the book?
Yeah. It's his adventures.
It's his adventures.
So I don't know. There's just like lots of weird things like that, you know? And it's like.
Well, like, I don't, like, time travel, if you would have asked me if I thought it was real several years ago, I'd been like, no, there's no way. But now I'm starting to think, well, why not? Because time is an illusion. We are just within time where we live. But like if you go out of this realm, spiritual realm, heaven, there's time doesn't exist. It's all in one big. It's hard to fathom how that is, but it's like it's not how it is for us.
Yeah. So
it's like
time's not linear.
It's not linear. So like why couldn't they, if they're using, magic, like spiritual powers.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they kind of manipulate that?
I mean, I feel like they could because in my mind, time's more like a coil, like a spring. Like it's more like, it's not like a straight line. So like if you could like straighten it out, like this part right here that's like together, like it's not, I don't know. Like I feel like just the more I learn about time and the more I like kind of study it, I'm like, it's not linear. It's not straight like we like want to think it is.
Right.
I don't know. That sounds like really weird to say, but it's just like it makes sense if you start thinking about certain things. That if you think of it more as like a coil or a cycle, or I don't know how to explain it because I don't really have words for it because it's not a tangible thing.
It's a very hard thing to grasp. And I don't think we can fully grasp it.
I don't think we're supposed to. Right, with our finite brains.
Well,
but
like think about that video, and I don't know if this is true or if someone is just playing us, but the video of those people on the boat sailing over where the Titanic had crashed, and you could hear violins and people screaming.
Weird.
This just happened.
That is weird.
And they say people have reported this, and
is
they got it on
water
video.
Memory?
They got it on video. Could be.
I don't know.
But I was thinking, like, and then people say, like, well, even though something happened in the past, it's still happening now. Isn't that weird? Like a weird thought.
Well, it makes sense because, like, going back to the coil thing, it was still happening. You know what I mean? Like, you were born, but like you're here now. Like that person's still, you know what I mean? Like it's still going. I don't know. It's like,
it's really
weird.
hard to explain.
I don't know if I'm explaining that well.
No,
but
it's a difficult one. It really is. But yeah, so then, I mean, there's so many, but those are like a few that really hit me. So I have another experience where I was in the grocery store. This is when we still lived in California. And this was before I ever heard of Mandela Effect. I didn't even hear about it till years later.
Okay.
So I wasn't looking for anything. So I have to remember that. I'm in the grocery store. I'm walking by where all the packaged deli meat is. And I see the Oscar Mayer deli meat package. And I stopped because I'm like, something looks wrong. It was spelled with, it was Oscar, and then it was Mayer, Mayyer. And I was like, huh? I was like, it was always M-E.
Yeah.
Always. I remember I stood there and looked at it for like a few seconds. And my head was like, they must have changed it, is what I thought. Oh, they must have changed their whatever logo.
Their spelling?
Well, apparently, it's another Mandela effect. Now they say it's always been an A. And
Wasn't
people
that the
like
song,
me are
though?
like, no.
No, it was E. Remember the song, the Oscar Mayer Weenie song?
Yeah,
Or Wiener song?
And now it's spelled with an A.
No.
Like Mayer.
No, it wasn't.
And now when they tell you it is, they're effing with us.
See, that's
Pikachu.
the thing where it makes you question your like sanity. Like it's like
It does.
know I'm not crazy.
We're not. See, I trust us. I trust the people that we're all remembering things this way. Also, like Pikachu, he always had the dark end of his tail had like the black or dark brown like lightning bolt thing.
I remember that.
Okay, no, it was just plain yellow.
No, it wasn't.
I know. And then the thing is, there's people's doodles and drawings of Pikachu that they've done, and they did draw with the black stripe. So, and then another one, is it Richard Simmons, the workout guy? Okay, his outfit, like what did he wear?
He wore a leotard, a sweatband.
Sweatband.
Yeah.
It's spit.
Sweatband.
Sweatband. Sweatbands. No, he never wore a sweatband.
Yes, he did in his little frizzy fro.
Never.
Yes, he did.
So then, what's really funny though, all like Halloween costumes for his outfit have a sweatband. So tell me why.
Okay.
They sell them, but then now that all of his videos, you cannot find one video of him wearing one.
Okay, same with Britney Spears and her microphone. Why was it then that people have a microphone in all their Halloween costumes? Because we're talking about Halloween.
Even her doll.
I don't do Halloween, but yeah, her doll had it, like a microphone.
So it was in the video,
outfit.
with music video. It was the
red outfit.
Yeah, she had like the jumpsuit on. What song was that?
Oh my gosh, why can't I remember?
I can't think of it. Shoot. But yeah, we all remember her having the little headset. Yeah, and then now you watch her music video, it's gone.
Yes.
And I think there's even a part where she like touches it.
Yeah.
And that's still there, but then the headphone is gone.
Yeah, it's like, why is she touching right here? Why is she touching nothing?
Right here? Nothing. And then it's on, like you said, the doll and costumes that you could buy for that outfit.
Wasn't there one too recently when Tom Cruise is like in his white shirt and he comes out in his
Risky
socks?
Business.
Yes, and
sunglasses.
No sunglasses.
He had sunglasses.
He had sunglasses on.
Everyone remembers
costumes. People had the sunglasses.
People dress up like him for Halloween, and everyone wears the sunglasses.
I saw something
and now
that someone
never
took,
had
like,
them.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just was gonna say I saw like somebody took their camera, like an old camera, and like watched it, and they like it showed the sunglasses on it.
I've heard that too. So like apparently and I don't know if this is true, but
I want to
people
try
have taken
it.
old camera phones,
Mhm.
right? Or old cameras.
I think it was just like an old camera.
Okay.
Like an old
Right. Like a digital?
it was like
Old camcorder.
Camcorder, yeah.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know
if
a word, it's so old.
So basically, like what people are showing online is like they'll play, let's say it's Risky Business, and he's sliding out to the living room with his shirt, underwear, socks, sunglasses. But right now he doesn't have sunglasses. They're gone now. Like they've been gone forever, apparently. He never had them. Can't. People take their camcorder and film the screen, and then on the camcorder screen, the sunglasses are back.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a veil.
It's a veil.
It's got to be a veil or something.
I never thought about it as a veil.
Yeah, I don't know. I just came to me. So
it's really good.
But it would make sense why that was showing. So then it's like it makes you want to go grab a Bernstein Bear book, some Jiffy, some Febreze,
a camcorder,
and a camcorder.
Oh yeah, let's talk about Febreze again. Another one. I used to have cable TV. Like when I was a young mom sitting at home nursing, I watched a lot of TV.
Yeah,
because I was home. The Febreze commercial was always playing, and it was Breeze, Breeze, just like the word breeze.
Yep.
Always.
I could
see it so clearly. But no, it's Breze.
No, it is not.
And it looks weird to me today.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, this looks wrong.
It is wrong.
And now they say like, no, it's always been this way. Like, no, you're playing us.
Yeah, I mean, or same with like the Jiffy peanut butter.
It was Jiffy. Sorry, I keep hitting my leg. Like I'm
You're mad.
It stresses me out. No, but Jiffy was always Jiffy, not Jif.
I mean, I remember when they changed it to Jif. I remember when it got changed to Jif.
Well, apparently it never was Jiffy.
Yes, it was.
But like you remember when it switched.
I remember when it switched.
You know what else I remember when it switched?
What?
Okay, Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
I remember when
how
it's spelled. When the first one opened up in our town area in California, it's the first one we ever had. I remember specifically thinking to myself, oh, they don't spell the word chick correctly. It was CHIC. Filet. Yeah. I remember thinking about that. I was like, okay. I just remember having that thought, like, oh, they didn't spell it correctly. Obviously, I knew they intentionally did that. Well, apparently now it's spelled with CK, and they say it's always been that way.
Wait, so CHICK? Like, so they've added a H and a K?
No, so they added the K.
So it's CHICK.
Yeah, it used to be CHIC.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's another one. That's another one that I noticed on my own. And then realized it was a Mandela Effect because I noticed, oh, wait, they have a K now.
Weird. And does Chick-fil-A say that's how it's always been spelled?
Yes.
Okay, so that makes you want to go like, should I be eating at Chick-fil-A?
And all these things, like Jif. I mean, we don't eat that peanut butter anyway.
Yeah, but still,
yeah, like they're messing
You're partaking in like being a part of the Mandela Effect.
It's everywhere. I feel like there's that's what I'm saying, like the beginning, we can't even name them all. There's so many.
I'm sure more will continue to
and
pop
they're gonna
up
keep
as
changing
time.
stuff. What about Sinbad?
Oh,
in the movie Shazam. Everyone remembers him being the main character in Shazam.
Not Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah. What the heck? No.
It's weird.
I specifically remember that one too.
Okay, well, remember that video I sent you and the guy was like, my uncle passed away and I'm going through his stuff and he like had an old copy of the Bernstein Bears. He had the like Shazam with not Shaquille O'Neal, but with Sinbad. He had a Fruit of the Loom shirt, I think.
Yep, he did.
And was there peanut butter there too? I can't remember if the peanut butter was there. But he had like this box of stuff that everyone was saying like never happened, never existed. But his uncle,
deceased uncle,
must have been a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, but how did he protect it? I'm wondering. Like, how did he? If that's real?
So if what you're saying is like the witchcraft and all that is changing the original, then like then that wouldn't be the case, right? Like then not all of them would have been like changed. So I don't know. I don't know how that would work. So there's things like that I'm like, that doesn't, like, they're not playing nice.
He's the first person that I've ever seen been able to find.
That actually found something?
Yes. So I do question
AI?
him.
Is it real?
Oh, he could have had them made.
Oh.
You could just have something made. You could get a Fruit of the Loom tag made on a shirt.
Oh, that's true.
So I thought about that too. I'm like, he could just be.
But even like the Bernstein Bears, like how would
you just have a book made to make it look like that. Couldn't you?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, you could. I don't see why you couldn't.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's
I don't know. I'm skeptical because he's the very first
Yeah.
person I've ever seen.
We need more proof. So people listening, if you have objects that are older or like, send us pictures because we need to know.
We need to know. Well, I just know we're not crazy because I know like we remember things correctly. Yeah. Okay, so then let's talk about these are like, again, like they're kind of silly things, but I think that's why they're doing it this way. So like we don't really notice it as fast. But there is a man called John Kerwin, and he has dedicated his life now to talking about how Bible verses and scripture is now being changed.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah. So he wrote.
I feel like that's going to be like, this is going to be offensive to a bunch of people to hear.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that's exactly what's happening, but I will say I do remember Bible verses being very different than they are now, and it just creeps me out. So, for example, like one of the biggest ones is the blank lays down with the lamb.
Mm-hmm.
I always heard it was always lion.
Lion.
Okay. So John Kerwin, he was in ministry for 30 years, and he has gone around and interviewed pastors about this subject. And across the board, every pastor, pastors who these guys are in the Bible almost every day, to quote that verse.
Yeah.
And he said every single one of them has said the lion and the lamb. And they say, okay, yeah. Now open that verse and read it. And they'll open their Bible in front of him.
Okay.
And they will read it. And it now says wolf and the lamb.
The wolf and
will lie down with the lamb. No one remembers it that way.
Okay.
No one. And even like people, like one girl in the comments on this video, she's like, in my Sunday school classroom, we had a huge mural on the wall, and it was a lion and a lamb.
Like laying, yeah.
And that's how it's always been that way. But now you can go back.
A wolf and a lamb?
You can go back to old editions of the Bible, and it's all changed now to wolf.
I wonder if you go back, like, how far? Like,
as far as people, you can go back.
Because that would have been like an original, like, again, to get that original.
Well, I don't know how you get to that original. Yeah. It's probably the Vatican.
Oh, that's true.
Well, because did you know that the Crown owns like the copyrights to I think it's like the King James or something.
Oh, yeah.
And they have to they have to renew it every new. And then in the Bible is a story of Jesus healing the blind man.
Mm-hmm.
And how I remember it, how like I think everyone remembers it, is that he picked up some dirt and he spit in his hands.
Yeah, he made mud.
Made mud.
Yeah.
And then he placed it on the man's eyes.
Yeah.
And then he was able to see.
That's what I remember.
Okay, well now it says he spit in his face.
No. Okay, so growing up, we were in church and there was a missionary there and he had come back from Africa and he was sharing the story of like there was a man whose eyes were just like completely white. And like this stuck with me forever. And he said, we were like, we're going to believe that you can have your eyes healed like it happened in the Bible. So we're going to spit in the mud and we're going to make mud. So he's like, we got some dirt, we spit it, we made mud and we put it in his eyes and his eyes slowly came back.
Wow.
And he regained his sight.
That's beautiful.
Yes, but
like they did it the way Jesus did it.
They didn't spit in his eyes.
They didn't spit in his face.
They didn't go straight to his face and like, you know.
That's not what it says.
No, ew.
You hawk to us. Spit on that thing.
No hawk to us.
It's not right. It's not right. There's something so weird. So those are just a couple examples. There's many, many examples. He wrote like, I think like an 800-page book on this.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's bad. It's scary.
It is scary. I mean, it's frustrating because it's like people who are truly like trying to know what the Bible says is, you know.
Yeah, and like
they're not getting the truth.
Correct. And he makes a point and he says, you know, nowhere in the Bible, because he went through all this too. Like at first, like there's no way. Yeah. This is blasphemy. How can I even think that this can happen? But then through his research and digging, he realized that nowhere in the Bible does it say that can never be changed. What can never change is the word of God, but that's Jesus. That's not scripture. Mm-hmm. That's two different things. The word of God is Jesus.
Right.
The scripture is the Bible. I'm like, okay, that's a good point. So God never promised that can't be changed. I mean, look at how they already can change like versions. They do things all the time.
Right.
So he makes that point, which is very interesting. And then how he said, it goes to show, like, yes, the Bible is a great resource, but that's not the relationship. We don't have it with a book. It's with Jesus. So really putting your focus on getting to know him as a person and as your savior versus putting all your faith in a book because, he's like, because what I'm saying is it's being corrupted. Right. So we need to be careful. I'm like, that's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, the disciples didn't have the Bible, right?
Exactly.
They had a relationship with Jesus.
Yep.
And I think to a degree, like, God is sovereign, and there are certain things that I think he will absolutely not allow to be changed, like salvation. I think there's just things that, like, that's just, like, how my personal opinion, but I'm like, I feel like there's probably things that he was just like, I draw the line here, because it's just, like, whether he spit in his eye or in the dirt, like, at the end of the day, he still received his sight, but it's like those details that are like being slowly changed.
Yeah.
It's like that is, I think, to take, again, power away from the believer. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, God can do whatever he wants. Like, if he wants to heal somebody through like spitting in the eye or spitting in the dirt, he can. But it's like the principle, you know?
Well, yeah, and it was never that way. No one remembers it that way.
Right.
And just to your point of the missionaries that went and did it how Jesus did by making mud in their hands.
I'd be curious to like talk. I mean,
everyone remembers it that way, though. Even pastors. And he says when he interviews these pastors, like a lot of times they'll just kind of like act like they'll say, oh yeah, I guess that is how it always was. I must have just misremembered because that's what our brains do.
Because they want to justify.
They can't go there. So they'll just be like, oh, I guess I was wrong. But like, why is everyone quoting the exact same verse the same way?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
that's so frustrating because it's like, I mean, there's still so much truth and like good things about the word, but it's like frustrating that like man or, you know,
I think Satan
is like trying to even just add more confusion. But I've always thought too that there are things missing from the Bible.
Right.
So, I mean, like the book of Enoch has been removed from the Bible. And so, like, there's many other books that have been removed from the Bible as well. Like the Ethiopian Bible had a lot of books in them that are not in our, books today. But it's interesting because, like, some of the Catholic Bibles have those older stories in them still, too. So it's like, I don't know.
It
like
makes it really confusing.
It does.
And you know who's the author of confusion.
Yeah, exactly. But it also makes sense it makes it a little bit easier to be like, wow, it's not that far of a stretch to think things have been changed when entire books have been removed.
Yeah.
So
I just think like some of it's just too obvious to be different. Like the wolf and the lion, that's just like not okay.
But why?
It's not okay
why
with
would
me.
You change that? You know what I mean?
Because just like why would they change the fruit of the loom? I think they're testing us too with these small changes.
Right.
And I'm wondering if they're going to start amping them up to bigger things.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. But
like trying to see what they can get away with, kind of like with COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
Like how far can we push people?
How far can we put? Pretty damn far, apparently.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
So, man, it's just crazy. I don't like it when you start questioning yourself and your own sanity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're like, no, I'm not crazy.
Well, that's what they want, I think. I think they don't want us to be able to trust our own memories, our own instincts, our own knowledge, so that we're relying on them.
Well, they've already taken away, like, trusting our own eyes.
Right.
Looking at the stars.
Right.
Looking at the skies.
Looking how close the moon actually is.
Yeah. The sun. Looking at the size. Like, you can look at the sun early morning and see, like, it doesn't hurt your eyes to look at it when it's coming up.
Correct.
But it's like you can look at it and you can see the moon and you're like, wow, they look similar in size.
Yeah.
And like the Freemasons, even their pictures and drawings and depictions of the sun and the moon, they're the same size. They're local. So it's like the information's out there. It's just we've decided to trust what they're telling us over what we can see and sense and discern for ourselves. Speaking of skies, it reminded me of like the verse. So it was Kissed by a Rose. And it was, I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. So they're saying now that it's, I've been kissed by a rose on the gray. What's the gray? I mean,
that's
like,
weird.
I know. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
That's a weird one.
But I'm like kissed on the rose by a gray? No.
By a gray, like an alien?
I don't know.
Well, you know what's another one?
Yeah.
Okay, at the very end of Queen's Champion song, We Are the Champions.
Yeah.
The very end of the song, he says, we are the champions.
My friend.
Oh, the very end, though.
Oh. We are the champions.
Of the world. That's how it ends.
Okay.
And then the music trails off.
Okay.
Okay, well, now it doesn't say that.
What
it just says, we are the champions. And then it cuts off.
Oh.
And I remember when I heard that a few years ago, I was listening to it and it did that. And I was like, again,
like
it was like a Ron Burgundy
end.
moment. And I was like, what? Because I was like singing it. Even my husband and I, we both went to sing Of the World, like at the end. And it wasn't there. And now apparently it never was there at the end of the song. But everyone sings it with Of the World at the end.
Okay, so we still have like a mass population singing the song of
with
the
that
world.
last part, and then it's not there anymore. And apparently it never was.
Weird.
I know.
You know what we should do? We should just like play it at your next like gathering and like have everyone sing it, and then right at the end, like just like see if they
That's good.
finish it.
That's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how people. I remember it. I literally we sang it out. We were in the car together and we sang Of the World together, and it didn't play on the song. We're like, what? Like, we were so confused.
Yeah.
You're like, it's not right. It's not okay.
Okay, but even just like, I'm not a Star Wars person.
Yes.
But I knew the saying because everyone and their mom was saying it. Like, maybe not their mom, their dad.
I know which one you're saying.
But it was like,
Luke, I am your father.
Yes.
And now it's not that anymore.
No, now it is, let me tell you.
It's creepy.
Luke.
Your father, I am. In Yoda language. No, just kidding.
No, I am your father.
Yeah, it's no, I am your father. But no, everyone says it was Luke.
I am
Everyone quotes it that way.
It was Luke, I am your father. Because I remember everyone was like, Luke, I am your father.
We always said it.
Yes.
What about the other one? Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Yeah, mirror, mirror on the wall.
Not.
Who's the fairest of them all?
Nope. It's a magic mirror on the wall.
No,
Doesn't that sound wrong? It sounds wrong when you hear it.
Magic mirror on the wall.
No, it was mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? That's how it always was.
And they made a song about it, remember? Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Oh, good idea. Yeah, good point. See? We're not crazy.
So, okay, do they make songs to make you think that that's what it is, but really it's not? Is that possible?
I think the song was real. I think the song was going off of the real quote.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay. Because, so, with the Mandela Effect, I've noticed, like for the Pikachu thing, for example, now they show just a yellow tail. They say he never had that little, lightning bolt thing on it. But then people sketch, their artwork has it. So it's they don't change that. They just change every, official image or video of it.
Okay.
So, again, the costumes. You go to the store and get a Richard Simmons workout costume. It has a sweatband.
It does still have a sweatband.
So, you know what I mean? So, they don't, that stuff's still there, which proves to me that they are changing things.
Bethel came out with a song called The Lion and the Lamb. The Lion and the Lamb.
So, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. And then also, I'm looking at some other ones. Okay, Curious George.
Okay.
Everyone remembers him with a tail.
He has a tail with the man in the yellow hat.
Okay, well, apparently he never had a tail,
yes,
which is really bizarre because he's a monkey.
Okay, yeah.
His tail's gone completely. This from the original books.
What?
Gone. No tail.
Okay, but monkeys have tails.
I know. So
Apes
why would they
don't have tails?
So why would they not paint him with a tail? Isn't that weird?
That
or have him
why would you take his tail away?
It's very weird.
They just docked it. They're like, no tail, we're done.
Okay. Speaking of Star Wars again, I watched Star Wars a lot as a kid.
Okay.
C-3PO.
The
gold robot.
Okay, I know who that is though, but yeah.
Okay. What color is he? C-3PO.
Yeah, he's gold.
Okay. Yes. Well, apparently he always had a silver leg.
A silver leg?
One of them was silver.
What?
And it looks really different than the gold one.
I never watched it, but I remember him being gold.
Apparently this is how he always looked.
No, it is not.
Does that look so not right?
That looks so dumb.
It does. Why would they even do that?
It's their budget was cut, so they didn't have enough gold foil to cover the last leg.
No one ever saw this. And so apparently no, it was always
dumb.
a silver leg.
That just looks dumb. I'm sorry.
Yep. Okay, what's another one?
Oh, Looney Tunes and Looney Tunes. Was it spelled like a Toon or Tune? Like I'm singing
Double
a tune.
O.
Double O. That's what I remember.
It matched Looney.
Yeah, because they're cartoons.
Exactly.
Why would you change it to tunes? That's like a song, like crazy songs. When all of the songs were classical music.
Looney Tunes cartoons.
But all of the songs they played were like classical music, which wasn't loony at all. I'm
confused.
Yeah,
I don't like it. Oh, okay. Skechers. How do you spell the word Skechers? Like the shoes.
Sketchers.
Okay. Apparently, there's no T.
Yes, there is. I had a pair.
Not anymore.
I had a white pair that had a silver, little squiggle down the side.
Not anymore. There's no T.
Nice.
Apparently, there never was a T.
Yes, there
Even
was.
though I remember it with a T as well.
Yeah, there was a T.
It's not anymore.
Oh, that's gross.
I know.
That's so gross. Okay, what about okay, so Jiffy peanut butter. When I was younger, I remember sitting at my grandma's table, staring at the peanut butter because we were making sandwiches for lunch, and it was spelled Jiffy, Jiffy.
And we're not confusing it with Skippy.
No.
We know the difference.
It was the 3 colors. You had the red, blue, and green.
Yeah.
Jiffy.
Now it's Jif.
And I remember being okay, I just remember looking at it because I felt like the letters were in each, were in the colors. They were within the colors. They weren't cutting through the
right.
The line, a letter wasn't a red and then a blue and then the letter on top. It was they were inside, and I always was oh, that's weird. There's only one in this.
Yeah.
like color, you know?
Oh, yeah. It was like off.
Yeah, or whatever. So
weird.
I don't know.
Okay, what's another one? Looney Tunes, that one for sure was double O's. That was our era.
Yeah.
We grew up watching that, like, for sure. Looney Tunes.
There was so much predictive programming in Looney Tunes, though, too, I feel like. So.
Yep. And then I don't know about this one. Like, this one, I don't have a memory of. But apparently, where the Statue of Liberty is located, everyone always thought it was on Ellis Island. But apparently, it's on Liberty Island, which is a different island.
No, I remember it being Ellis.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Apparently, it never was.
Isn't there something else that's different about the Statue of Liberty, too? Like,
ooh, I don't know.
I want to say it was, like, the number of, like, spikes or, like, something.
Ooh.
I don't remember. But I want to say, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of something else, but.
Let's see, Liberty. Let's see. Wouldn't it surprise me?
Statue of Liberty Mandela Effects.
That's exactly what I wrote. Okay. So it's got a few.
Okay,
the Ellis Island one. And then, a lot of people vividly remember going up. Oh, yeah, that's right. A lot of people vividly remember going up into the torch.
Oh.
Like tourists go up there.
Okay.
Apparently,
I never did do that.
you've not been able to go up there since 1916. And people are like, no, I remember going in it.
Yeah, I've been in it.
So that's weird.
That one would be really weird because you're like, I physically went up there myself.
Yep.
What if, I wonder if they have pictures, like.
Oh, yeah. What if they have pictures?
Yeah, I don't know.
That would be good to know.
I mean, they say that the Statue of Liberty is also, it looks exactly like.
It's Lucifer's statue. You ever notice the chain on his ankle?
It broken?
It's broken. Like he was loosed. My thought is back into like the Satan's Little Season.
Again,
I think is when he was erected at the beginning of the United States, which is when I think possibly he was loosed for a second time. Well,
that's what I was going to ask you. Like, do you think he was loosed when that was built and they were like just memorialized? Why can I not talk?
Yeah, exactly.
A memorial for it.
That's what I think.
Like to remember, like, oh, he's been loosed or whatever.
That's what Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops. What about Fruit Loops?
Do you remember how that was spelled?
No.
Okay, me neither.
Again, like, I would have been so young. Like, I don't know that I would have. No.
What? Okay. What's this movie with Tom Hanks? The one where he's special?
Oh, Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. So when he's sitting on the bench, that famous line talks about the chocolates. How does that line go?
Life is like a box of chocolates.
Yes. Apparently that's not correct.
What? What is it?
Life was like a box.
Like past tense?
Doesn't that sound weird? Like past tense.
Why would you say it was?
Exactly. He's still living and talking to this woman.
Jenny.
It doesn't make any sense. He's talking to this lady on the bench.
I don't know. I don't remember that movie too much, but I remember the saying.
Everyone says life is like a box of chocolates. Not was. It wouldn't even be applicable like the way we use it too.
Life was like a box of chocolates. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
Oh, and then another one from Silence of the Lambs.
I don't think I watched
Hello,
that.
Clarice.
That one was a scary one.
Apparently, that's not how he says it.
What does he say now?
I don't know. It's not telling me. It just says never actually said it that way.
Oh.
Risky business, sunglasses. Everyone remembers that. Oh my gosh, Mr. Rogers.
Okay.
How's the song go at the very beginning?
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day.
That's how I remember it too.
Okay.
Apparently now it says it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. That's weird.
It's always been the, right?
It's always been the.
I always thought the. I know.
I don't know. Again, like, okay, so I'm asking about songs because Daniel Tiger came out and he sang it. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I'm like, are the songs messing with us like slightly different to make us think it was that?
It was always, but I remember him saying beautiful day in the neighborhood.
That's what I remember too, but.
Okay, Britney Spears song we could not think of.
Yeah.
Baby One More Time.
Okay, I was
right?
No, it was. No, it wasn't Baby One More Time.
This is wrong then, because chat's saying Britney Spears' headset mic, people swore she wore in Baby One More Time.
Is it Baby One More Time?
That was the high school one.
And the
skirt.
pom-pom hair.
No, we're thinking of like the other one.
Yeah.
See, that's wrong.
Okay, so is that the song she sang? Should we look on YouTube?
Yeah, look it up.
Let me see.
Oh, okay. The Thinker statue.
Okay, the guy thinking.
Okay, how'd you just do that?
Like this.
Okay, apparently he's actually resting his forehead on his fist.
What?
Not his chin.
Okay, like so then
everyone does it like this.
But then I'm thinking, Night in the Museum. He was in that movie and he was like this. So
Yeah.
I'm like, was that just like predictive programming you to like subliminal messaging you?
No, it's just that they didn't change it across the board everywhere. They just all they did was change the actual, not like original tape, but like the original movie, show, song it came from. Because there's a lot of people, like, again, that have been able to, like costumes, other people's drawings.
But it's
other
saying
people
it is,
like
oops, I did it
quoting
again.
it.
Sorry.
It is? Oh,
maybe it is.
wait, oops, I did it again is the school
Oh, yeah,
one.
Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Or no.
Yeah, so oops, I did it again.
Is the one where she's
in
with
the red
headset. The red.
Yes.
Thank
I
you.
was thinking of Baby One More Time.
I always thought of her as wearing orange in that video. Like an orange. But it's
It
red.
is kind of orangey. Look
okay,
at it.
because
Look
I
at
always
this.
thought she was wearing orange.
It's kind of a reddish orange.
It is. Okay.
Yeah.
So Weird the Thinker statue, he always had it on his chin. But now apparently it was on his forehead. Okay.
So there's so
I'm
many
just trying to find more.
discrepancies,
There's a lot. Oh, Tinkerbell in the Disney intro, apparently people remember her dotting the I with her wand, and apparently that never happened.
What?
I know.
I do remember that when we did Disney. I feel like I do. I should ask some people who...
Oh.
I should ask my friend. She loves Disney. I should ask her if she remembers them.
Yeah, ask her. What about Flintstones?
Okay.
How do you remember that spelt?
Flint and then Stones?
Yeah.
Flint?
Yeah, apparently there's never been a T. Flintstones.
Flintstones?
So the Flintstones.
It's like...
Always had the T.
Flintstones. Like
Flintstones.
You can't say your T's. Like you're from... Like you're a Utah. Utahns never say T's. It's mountain.
That is like that in California too.
Is it?
I say mountain, button. I do too.
You do?
I don't. Yeah.
I've never noticed that.
It's because you do it too, probably.
No, I say mountain.
Oh, I say
maybe
mountain.
I don't say.
I say mountain, button.
I do say mountain. I say the T.
You do?
Button.
Okay, I don't.
Where's the button? I don't know if I say button. That feels weird. Button.
I don't say the T.
Button.
I think it's just where I grew up.
I think I say button, but yeah.
Okay, there's just a lot. Oh, okay, here's a really, really weird one that I refuse to believe. Okay. On your side mirrors in your car, what does it say on that bottom, like on the bottom of the mirror?
Objects may appear closer, or objects in the mirror may appear closer than they are, or something like that, right?
Okay, it's objects in mirror may be closer than they appear.
Yes.
That's how I always remembered it.
Yes. Something like that. Maybe I butchered the words, but yeah.
Yeah, so objects in mirror, you said may though, so I was right. May be closer than they appear because they may be closer, right? Well, now it says, and it always has said apparently, objects in mirror are closer than they appear.
No, maybe.
No, may.
We spent
You can't have a definitive like statement on your, because what if it's not?
Yeah. I spent many hours on long car trips staring out the window.
We didn't have phones to look at. We
literally just read that a million
I did too.
times.
I read that so many times.
Yeah.
So, we should go look at my car after this. See if it's changed.
That's weird.
I don't like it. Oh, here's another really big one. I don't remember this, but Ed McMahon, is that how you say his name? From Publishers Clearinghouse.
Okay.
People remember him delivering big checks to people's doors. Like
the giant checks.
Yeah, and apparently that never happened.
Yes, it did.
And people remember it.
I remember that. I didn't know his name was, but I remember watching like TV.
Is it Ed McMahon? Is that how you say it?
I think so. Ed McMahon,
I don't
remember. Was he older?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember his name, but I remember seeing like giant checks for large sums of money
Go to
on these
people's
like
doors.
big cardboard checks.
Yeah. A lot of people remember that.
Yeah,
and
I remember that. Do you remember that?
Kind of. I don't have a very good memory of it.
I mean,
but I didn't grow up with TV. We didn't have TV. Okay. I think I'm done. There's just a lot.
So the CIA has patterns and documents about mass manipulation available online about changed memories as a social experiment.
How are they changing memories?
I don't know.
Like with Mandela Effect stuff? Like messing with our...
I don't know, but I feel like that would fall under Mandela Effects of changed memories.
Oh, for sure.
So mass...
But this is like, maybe this is a type of like MK Ultra they're doing on people.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking of. Like they're just trying to... I mean, again, I don't know how they're doing it. I didn't look into it that closely, but I just saw that and I was like, I should dive a little bit deeper into that.
Yeah. I don't even know if you would find the answer, though.
I know. It's probably buried or gone by now.
Yeah, I don't even know.
But the fact that it may have been there is, like, very interesting. That they have documents that they're doing that to the population.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
I mean, MK Ultra is like a weird thing too, though.
Yeah.
I feel like Britney Spears comes to mind. Like,
oh, for sure. Most
for
big
that.
celebrities,
Mhm.
like even Marilyn Monroe, she was
Mhm.
an MK Ultra victim.
They look alike. Marilyn
They
and
look a lot
Britney
alike.
were related
I know.
by like some great-great-grandma.
Yeah, I
Something
heard that too.
like that. Yeah.
But they look related.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing I was going to talk about too is, okay, there's this guy, his name's Cliff High. He's a linguist and programmer, and he created a cyber spider like 20 years ago.
Okay.
And it went through the internet, and he intended it to pick up on conversations that could help him with like buying and selling stocks, like the market.
Insider trading kind
Yeah,
of thing.
exactly.
Okay.
But what he started noticing that was super strange is it started to predict the future.
Weird.
And one of the things it predicted, it was multiple, but this one, for example, it predicted that there was going to be a lake in Peru that would suddenly dry up.
That's kind of random.
2 months later,
No.
a lake in Peru dried up like overnight.
Wow.
So that's when he realized, like, okay, this thing is like obviously legit.
Yeah.
But it's like it goes into like the whole quantum physics, all that stuff. Like there's just so much like unexplained. I think technology is just like way more powerful than we can even realize, and like
it's way more
revealing
advanced.
a lot, way more advanced. But yeah, isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
So I don't know, like if that can happen, and they're able to to predict the future, like you think of like predictive programming and stuff. Are they using something like that to like manipulate, predict?
Maybe.
I don't know. It just makes you wonder, like, what are they using? And like again, like going back to CERN, like that place is satanic. First of all, their logo is 3 6s put
like
together.
Disney's,
like
Mickey
Disney's
Mouse's
signature.
ears.
Yeah, it's like 3 6s. They have the goddess of Shiva outside, like a giant statue outside of CERN, who's the goddess of destruction.
Oh. And
their opening ceremonies. Did you ever see that? Their ritual? It's the creepiest satanic. It's a big ritual they have outside where they're dressed up weird. They have big statues. It's a whole thing. And they like parade around. They're doing all these weird things. Super dark.
In front of the
very demonic.
The CERN?
Right in front of CERN. Before they opened. It was like their opening
That was their
ritual.
Opening. Oh.
You should watch it.
Okay, I should.
It's the most demonic. It's so in your face. It's not. They don't even try to hide it.
Yeah.
So they're obviously doing things that are very dark. And they're, people don't know, and I don't know a ton, but the Hadron Colliders, these massive machines, and they're like basically smashing like particles together.
Yeah.
And they admit they're opening portals.
Well, I thought they were turning it off, so it's turned off now.
On the 29th, I think.
Until,
or 26th. What's today? They're turning it off in 2 days or 3 days or something.
Until 2030.
Yeah, for a few years.
Which is when, they got together.
Agenda 2030?
Yeah, and they're like, you're going to own nothing and be happy about it. And you're going to eat bugs and like it.
I'm scared. Like, what are they going to be doing for the next few years on this thing? And then when they turn it back on.
I mean, are they really turning it off? Or are they just turning it down? Or what are they doing?
Yeah, who knows?
I just don't even believe what they say.
Okay, so before I wrap it up, there's one last piece of information I wanted to include. I should have included it earlier when we were talking about John Kerwin, but this is fascinating. So in the 60s, there was a man that attended a Planned Parenthood conference, and he got up and spoke, and he predicted that the Mandela Effect was going to happen and that the Bible was going to be altered.
No.
Yes.
So both those things that we talked about. I mean, this is a good place to actually put it in because we did talk about both those things.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
That is wild.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like, too, like when you look up Mandela Effect, it's showing up in places like Good Housekeeping and Men's Health and Esquire. Like, if those magazines are talking about it and they're trying to make it more, I feel like, mainstream, there's obviously an agenda that they're pushing. Well,
I feel like, yes. And I also feel like they just can't ignore it at this point. So they're going to have to kind of control the narrative.
Right.
Because so many people are talking about this. And we've been talking about this for years now.
Right.
So it's like they're going to have to like spin it.
Right.
And but they'll tell you like, oh, you just remembered wrong. Like that's what they'll say. Like, you just can't trust your memory.
But when millions of people, like you
have
said,
the same false memory, that's impossible.
Memory.
That's literally impossible.
The chances and likelihood of that, I wish we could we should have asked what
figured out what the percentage would have been.
Yeah, like the likelihood or
no. I to me, I just think it's like it's so unlikely. It's just impossible. Yeah. So yeah, this one again, like it freaks me out. There's like you can't really come to like a full conclusion. It's just I think it's the more you dig into this one, the more confused you feel.
I think that's kind of how in the world are they doing
this? Yeah.
Is it like the infinity snake where like the snake's eating its own tail?
Was that called the Ouroboros or
I don't
something like
remember,
that?
but that's what it almost reminds me of. And it's like,
yeah. You don't want to go crazy on this because there's people that have like really dedicated their life to this.
Yeah.
And God bless them. But like this
and we don't deny that it's like what they're saying is false because we remember the same thing.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a real thing. It's just how and why. That's the question.
Yeah.
So
at the end of the day, I think it's just all part of the mass manipulation and deception. You know, I think that the time is running out and they're just doing everything they can right now to make things as confusing, as muddy, as like upside down as they can. And so I think everything will come out eventually. Like the truth will come out. It like always does. Right. Yeah. And so it's just like a matter of time. So.
Well, what is time?
What is time? It's not a line.
What is it, a coil?
It's a coil, I think. I don't know. Yeah. It's interesting because I've come across other people who have said similar things. So I'm like, okay, my mind is, going in some sort of a direction, but obviously other people's are going right along with me. So
yeah,
I know.
It's cool.
Anyways, well, all right.
Next time.
Till next time.